Good morning, everyone. Like Becca said, I'm Christine. I'm one of the children's directors here at PBCC. And for all you kids, I know you already know it is Mother's Day. If you haven't already, make sure that you tell your mom a few things that you love about her and appreciate about her. And dads, you can help them remember to do that later today. Well, we have been studying the book of John, and we've been talking about the invitations in the book of John, the invitation to come and see Jesus. We've talked about Jesus being the Lamb of God. And then last week, Bunny and Sean talked about following Jesus. Today, we're looking at John chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. And I want you to picture this with me. Jesus was invited to a big special party. It was a wedding. There were friends there, yummy food, yummy drinks. But the wine ran out, which for the adults was a big bummer. It was kind of a big deal because it was sort of like being at a birthday party and not having birthday cake. Jesus told one of his servants to go fill a bunch of glasses with water. And the servant did. And then all of a sudden, the water turned into wine. Jesus had turned the water into wine. Now, that's not something that we see every day. Now, you might be wondering, what can I learn from this story? I mean, I don't think Jesus is trying to tell me that he's always going to turn my water into a yummier drink, like root beer or lemonade. But let me tell you what I think we can learn from this. Jesus isn't always going to change our water into some other drink, but he does change us. And he changes the world around us. The fancy word that Sean's going to use later for change is transform. Those of you who have played with the Transformer toys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Jesus changes us, or he transforms us. He makes the people on his team, his followers, a little bit more like him every day. Kinder, more patient, better listeners. But Jesus gives us a job too. Our job is to invite him in and to do what he says. Now, I just did a couple sign language motions that I want you to try with me. This is invite, and then this is obey. In the story that we just heard, Jesus had been invited to that big special party. The hosts wanted him there. He was invited. And then the servant did what Jesus said. He had no idea that Jesus was going to turn the water into wine. He just did what Jesus said. And we can do the same thing in our lives. We can invite Jesus into our lives and into our hearts. We can do what he says. And then the really fun part is we get to just sit back and watch what he'll do to change us and the world around us. Now, if I were your age, I'd be wondering, how do I invite Jesus into my life? Well, there's a lot of ways to do that, but you can just tell him. You can just say, Jesus, I want you in my heart. I want you to be part of my life. I invite you. He can hear you. I think I'd also be wondering, if I were your age, how do I know what Jesus is telling me to do? Well, we get better at listening to him over time. We can read in the Bible what he wants us to do. We can also ask him in our prayers, Jesus, what do you want me to do? I know when I ask that question, a lot of times Jesus gives me peace. He gives me this sort of calm and quiet feeling in my heart that tells me Jesus wants me to do this or that or the other. Now, my big questions for you today are, what part of your life can you invite Jesus into? And what is Jesus telling you to do? You can talk to your parents at dinner or at lunch. For those of you who are joining for virtual Sunday school after this, you can even talk to your classmates and your teachers. Now we're going to sing a song together that a lot of you will recognize. A note for everyone is that you may have noticed that we have been involving kids and youth in this portion of the service the past couple weeks, and we are very excited about that. We love having the body participating. We have decided as a staff that for the safety and privacy of these kids and youth that we'd like to keep their names confidential. So that's both for the live stream and for the chat. And we do encourage you, if you want to reach out to somebody who's behind the camera, to do so individually. Send them an email or a text, give them a phone call. That would be great.